Take it back to middle school, and we're in gym class, and everybody knows that kickball is just the funnest game to play. And so the girl that was rolling the ball is just known for rolling it really fast, so it's hard to hit the ball. And so I'm like, I gotta hit this as hard as I can and get this as far away so everybody on the three bases are free and get to home base. Now she's just giving me the death stare, right? So I know she's about to just throw this as hard as she can, and she does. And I hit it as hard as I can. It goes through the air and hits her right in the face. I'm like, oh shit! She lands on her back. I'm like, bruh, she is knocked out. No, she is dead. And there's no coming back from that. So everybody's looking at her, and the freaking gym teacher goes up and it's like, what happened? I'm just like, well, you see, Teach, this must be a sign of God, because what are the chances? She was like, what the fuck, Dante? I was like, well, she's with God now, so she can make good terms with the nigga. I'm just trying to play kickball over here. Like, I'm just chilling, you know what I'm saying? So this story takes place when I was in elementary. Now, I don't know if my school is the only school that does this, but before an assembly or a play, they would pick a kid to do the pledge in front of all the other kids. Now, this kid is normally good grades, good attitude, full on try hard. But I'm just the kid that sharpens pencils in the morning. So I'm thinking I'm never going to get this in a million years. And so it's the day of the assembly, and a teacher comes to me, and she has this big ass smile on her face, and she squats down to me, eye level, and she's like, hey buddy, exciting news, you won't believe this. And I was like, what? And she was like, just guess. I was like, my dad came back. And she was like, no, not today, but you did get chose to lead the pledge. And I was like, bitch, for what? She was like, hey, you had good grade, you have a good attitude, and you're just a big help around here. I was like, nigga, I sharpen pencils, like, and I'm gonna keep it 100. I put crayons in that bitch. Like, get Susie to do this. Like, she has straight A's. Like, y'all know when you get bored that you just decide to go, like, look around your house? Well, I decided to go in my attic. While I was up there, I heard the ground, like, start creaking. I was like, wouldn't it be fun to jump? And I fell through my goddamn... I'm okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I was a pretty chubby kid growing up, and one day I'm chilling at the lunch table and they start handing out the cross-country flyers to everybody in the lunchroom. They get to me and I just laugh at it and I stuff it in my bag. Once I get home, I find the paper and I want to get rid of it, so I throw it in the trash can and I totally forget about it. 1 month later, it's summer, and my mom wakes me up at 6 a.m. I wake up, I'm like, what's happening? And she's like, yeah, you gotta go. I was like, what? She was like, you're gonna be late for your first day at cross country. I was like, did you go through the fucking trash can? And she was like, so what if I did? I was like, oh, are you fucking crazy? Are you a raccoon? And she was like, Dante, it's not that big of a deal. I was like, you got mad at me for bringing mud in the house. Now you're going through garbages? Like, bitch, are we fancy or slobs? Which one? She gets mad at me and she's like, boy, you better throw away the attitude. I'm like, as long as you don't bring it back later, I'm fine. She was like, son, you are an overweight kid and you need exercise to burn the fat. I was like, fat? I thought I was fluffy. Have y'all ever had a friend that did something so stupid that you just started hating them for it? Well, I knew this one kid, and me and him became actually pretty close during the school year, and so he asked if he could come to my house. I was like, sure, bro, anytime. Fast forward 2 weeks later, and my mom said, hey, no friends are allowed over because you have a bunch of chores. All of a sudden, I hear a knock at the door. I go through the peephole, and it's the kid. Now I'm thinking, dang, I have to send this man home. I open the door, and not even 2 seconds later, this man walks into my house, goes to my refrigerator and ask if he can have a pop. I was so confused. I go up to him, I'm like, bro, are you crazy? He was like, you right, Gatorade's better. I'm like, no, you have to leave. My mom walks in, she's like, Dante, what did I say about having friends over? I'm like, technically he's an intruder. My friend turned to me, he's like, bro, you opened the door. I was like, and you walked in. He was like, yeah, that's how doors work. And I got so mad because he was right. I turned to my mom, I'm like, dude, what the hell? My mom's like, honey, you can grab a Gatorade and leave. I'm like, nigga, that's my Gatorade. We all know that one dog in our neighborhood that is just so sweet and kind, but we also know that one dog that is just annoying and always aggressive and is so angry that you never want it to get out of his fence. Well, that just happened to be my neighbor's pet, and this dog would always be loud at the nighttime. This would always be aggressive when people would walk by. So one day I'm home alone, and all of a sudden I hear this loud screaming, and this was some chaotic screaming. I run outside and I see both of my neighbors are outside. They turn to me, they're like, no, Dante, Jake got out. I was like, Jake? From State Farm? They were like, Dante, no. I was like, oh, I'm dumb. Adventure Time was the shit. And all of a sudden, I heard something. I turned to my right, and the pit bull is out of his fence. And all of a sudden, I have a heart attack because it's running towards me. So I start running back, and it bites the bottom of my shorts, and it starts pulling my shorts down. I was like, it's stripping me. All of a sudden, my neighbor jumps on his dog and starts screaming. I'm like, just shoot it. Just shoot it. Have y'all ever broke something and your siblings have the option to either help you or snitch you out? Well, one night, me and my sister are playing tennis on the Wii, and we all know about the Wii controllers, how they have that strap that goes around your wrist so you don't chuck it and end up breaking something. Well, me and my sister are very competitive when it comes to tennis, and so we are swinging with all of our hearts. All of a sudden, my sister goes up to serve, and when she swings the controller, it goes out of her hand and hits our new flat screen TV. When I tell y'all how broke this TV was, it was shattered. My sister's freaking out. She's like, Dante, how are we gonna fix our problem? I was like, this is your problem. She was like, bro, I'm your sister. I was like, yeah, you're my sister that broke the TV. She gets mad. She's like, Dante, you're the worst brother ever. I'm like, damn, you broke the TV, now you're breaking my heart. 2 hours go by and my sister grabs some scissors and cuts off the strap of the controller. And she's like, all right, Dante, when mom gets here, tell her that we were playing tennis and the strap broke off of the controller. I was like, you want me to lie? Do I look like the devil? Have y'all ever had two best friends that start fighting or arguing and you are put in an awkward situation because you don't want to choose sides? Well, I knew this kid named Andy and I knew this kid named Isaac. Now we're at lunch and Andy and Isaac sit together while I was sitting at a different table that day. And apparently what happened was Andy and Isaac were making fun of each other. And it got to a point where Andy threw some water on Isaac and he got so mad that he stood up and started punching Andy in the back of the head. Now I'm on the other side of the loud cafeteria, so I have no clue this is happening. All of a sudden after the bell rings, I get 3 people come up to me and they're like, bruh, Isaac and Andy got in a fight. I was like, what? I waited to my 5th hour because I have Andy there. I start talking to him and he's like, yeah, bro, I didn't feel nothing. I'm like, damn, he really hit you that hard. He was like, bro, Dante, I ate those punches. I was like, the only thing you needed to be eating was the chicken nuggets, but you decided to throw water on people. He was like, everybody in that room saw Isaac cheat shot me, so therefore I won. I was like, congratulations, Andy, you won a concussion. Next fight, try to bring home the crutches. Have y'all ever had a breakup with somebody or have you got dumped before? Either way you look at it, it sucks for both people. So I knew this one girl and me and her became really close friends when we were young and I just started catching feelings for her. So I decided to go ask her out to my 8th grade dance and surprisingly she said yes and we started dating. Now this dance theme was carnival, so there was a million prizes that I could have won her, but I ended up only winning her a bouncy ball, but she didn't care. She loved it anyways. Fast forward to the end of the school year and she's acting a little weird and she comes up to me, she's like, Dante, I have to tell you something. I'm like, yeah, what's up? And she was like, Dante, I think we need a break. I was like, damn right, we've been in school for 9 months, Jesus. She was like, no, like we're not connecting anymore. I was like, oh, this summer I expected to get tan, not single. What the fuck? She was like, Dante, I know this is hard for you. I was like, hell yeah, you Jigglypuff. Now, I'm not going to say her name because Ruby watches my story times, but I go home, I'm like, Mom, my self-esteem is so low. She was like, like them grades. I'm like, nigga, not the time. Y'all ever met somebody for the first time and you just started catching feelings? Like you have never talked to this person prior, but for some reason you start liking them? Well, when I was young, my mom forced me to do cross country. On my first day, I was just mad and sad and I just didn't want to be there. I look around and I see this girl and she is a 10 out of 10. She is a Scooby snack, y'all. All I'm thinking is, how can I make her my girlfriend? And then I got it. Girls like the guys that are cool, the guys that don't give a F about anything. I just gotta play it cool to her. I go up to her and I'm like, girl, this shit sucks, bruh. She was like, this is my favorite sport. I was like, oh, shit. I meant like, shit, this ain't yearly, nigga. Like, I love this shit. She was like, you're acting like somebody's forcing you to be here. I was like, oh, only if you knew. And she was like, I don't want to be rude, but aren't you a little chubby to be in cross country? I was like, first of all, I'm fluffy, but anyways, I'm trying to lose weight. She was like, I don't know. I've never really trained a fat person. I was like, bitch, it's fluffy. Have y'all ever wanted something so bad that nothing in the world could stop you from getting it? Well, take it back to my freshman year of track, and I am in my prime. Like, my time just went faster and faster, and so my coach decided to put me in first heat. If you don't know what first heat is, it's when all the fastest people go to the front of the line so everybody knows who are the fastest. Fast forward to the track meet, and I'm warming up. I finally get in my lane, and then this grown man gets next to me. I turn around, I'm like, oh, so you're a placeholder for your son? He was like, what? I was like, your son? He was like, bro, I'm 16. I was like, you have a beard. He gets all confused. He's like, puberty hits. I'm like, puberty hit me. Sir, he hit you with a rock. You need to press charges. He gets mad. He's like, bro, are you trying to fight? I was like, well, I don't fight adults, but that would be a fun story. He was like, bro, do you not know where I came from? I'll tell you everything you need to know. I was like, great, let's start with your age and we can figure out the rest later. He was like, bro, I'm 16 and I'm from the effing streets. I was like, you from Narnia? Because you can't be that size. We all know that asking somebody out on a date is something that is stressful and just hard to do, but also saying no to somebody is equally as stressful and as hard. Take it back to 5th grade and I was obsessed with magic. I read about Houdini, I watched shows about magic, and I just loved doing magic tricks. And the girl in the class that liked me really knew that about me. Next day I come to school, she comes up to me, she's like, what's up, magic boy? I was like, what's up, bad breath? And she didn't really find that funny, so I apologized. Later on in that class, I'm doing my work and her friend comes up to me and hands me a note. I open it and it says, do you think I'm cute? And it had 3 options. It said yes, kinda, and no. Now I didn't like her, but I was too afraid that she would start crying if I said no, so I didn't know what to do. I get up and I give it to my best friend and he reads it. He was like, oh, you're a solid 6. I'm like, dude, this is not for you. I was like, I got this from her. He looks up and he's like, oh yeah, bro, just tell her the truth. I was like, you're right. So I put no and I hand her the note. 5 minutes later, her friend comes over and she looks really mad. She was like, you don't know what you're missing out on. I was like, oh, really? She was like, yeah, you fatty. I was like, our people go by fluff.